Hello, everybody. It's Max with Crypto Talk now. There's going to be about roughly three key things that are going to be presented to you in regards to XRP, XLM, and even XDC. And if anything, we've been outlining for you guys for quite a few months now in regards to the statement of how specifically the likes of, for instance, XRP will achieve a market cap that a lot of people just simply cannot fathom. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's coverage. And like we've covered many times before, this particular individual with his great content, Crypto Lulu, he does a very, very good job of explaining how specifically the likes of XRP, XLM, for instance, basically moons, like it mentions right here, supernaturally. Listen to the case that he basically mentioned. You know, this is how we achieve these crazy market caps, if you will. This is about 1 minute and 22 seconds. We'll come back for some more commentary, but this specifically makes perfect sense for all the doubters who think that XRP, XLM, and so on won't reach insane market caps. So let's do it, and we'll be right back.
If we're talking about smart contracts and NFTs, we're likely talking about XDC linking through an interledger protocol. There are ways to connect the interoperability of all of this, connect XDC's network with all of those smart contracts with a certain amount of value that actually needs to be settled via that interoperability using a settlement token that is liquidity based, because of course, where's the liquidity going to come from especially when you're talking about real world money? And then the real world money to debt value or ratio is about 10-1, meaning there's 10 times more debt than there is actual money, simply because of this layering system where you can collateralize debt, as I showed you in those layers. And remember, all of the value of all of the contracts has to be on the network itself. And if we're settling all of those funds and settling all of those agreements with basically 10x leverage is basically what it is, and you're having to settle payments around the world, sounds like something that would increase the price, right? The debt being tokenized and added to a network is probably the single most influential part of a supernatural price increase for XRP. And so now I've understood how debt is tokenized. I say this all the time because I'm constantly learning, but mind was blown.
Yeah, my mind is still completely blown in regards to that. I mean, it's just, it's quite the statement. So with that said, let's break that down for just a moment and basically what that entails and so on. So, you know, you just heard what he basically mentioned, right? And if anything, you know, I'm looking at it from the perspective of, let's just, for instance, look into the United States debt in itself, right? And that's a massive debt, all right? So for instance, I brought this up, and you know, like you see right here, for instance, it says, this comes, of course, from fiscal data, treasury.gov. I won't take you, of course, right directly to the site. I mean, you can check it out for yourself. But, I mean, even just getting the quick gist of it, right? Because it comes right from fiscaldata.treasury.gov. It says the national debt for the United States of America basically is 31.33 trillion, right? It's horrible, right? I'm not necessarily saying that, for instance, you know, XRP is going to take on obviously the entire debt of the United States. Not stating that at all. But if anything, the United States just represents, for instance, one particular country. And if you even calculate this, for instance, if you took, for instance, I don't know, let's say 1% of that particular figure, right? Really, really low ball. Do the math for yourself. That in itself is tremendous. Combine that, for instance, of like he was mentioned, taking off some of these debts, for instance, of various other countries, right? And then you start talking about a whole other ball game. Not to mention, for instance, what XRP brings to the table, especially recently with the whole talk of, you know, healthcare industry, what they're doing with real estate. It's just crazy, right? And with that also said, it makes you bring yourself to take a step back and pause and reflect on some of these things when you also see this. So this is straight from PCB .com. Okay, and this was posted, of course, last August. But if anything, look at this particular statement. So draw your attention to the very top of this screen. And it says ISO 222, of course, is a critical component of the FedNow service, which aims to provide people with safe, instant, nationwide payment services that will be available, of course, 24 hours a day, every day of the year. Though initially planned to roll out in phases, the Fed recently announced that ISO 222 will be implemented all at once on March 10th of 2025. And, there's, of course, the whole statement of why is the United States showing up to this big show, if you will, right, with this whole ISO 222 compliancy in 2025. Wait until then. If anything, for me, and, again, don't shoot the messenger here or anything, but the way I am personally looking at it is kind of has to do with some of this debt. If you really, really think about it, right? So $31 trillion in debt, and I imagine by 2025, that thing is going to be even that much higher, right? I've seen projections about our national debt here in the United States as high as $41 trillion by 2026. So let's not even get started with that. But some more data in regards to what you see here. It says, to date, more than 70 countries have already adopted ISO 222. For example, China, India, Japan, and Switzerland. Cryptocurrencies have been quick to embrace ISO 222, and several are already compliant, including Algorand. Today there's HBAR, for instance, IOTA, at Quant. We talk about Quant all the time here. Ripple's XRP, Stellar, and of course the XDC network, right? So it gives you a further understanding of this and so on. And I've said many times on our live show, by the way, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, highly recommend it. But I've stated many times that I feel as though once the United States sees the success of how well this is working out for other countries, why wouldn't they want to accelerate getting this all done long before, of course, one specific date, March 10th, 2025, right? But if anything, if a person was going to wait it out, and especially the United States is going to wait it out, some of these statements about, this particular token, this particular coin that's ISO 222 compliant, and how big it will be for the United States, and when will that specifically be, and so on. Again, it kind of gives you a broader perspective, I should say, on specific dates. Now, again, some of these dates could also be delayed, face it. And of course, what recently happened, delaying ISO 222 from November till March, that's something to be said as well, right? So a little bit more in regards to our coverage that we want to show you. I'm going to go, of course, and show you this specifically here as well. And if anything, listen to what he has to say about, for instance, the staking. One of my key takeaways basically is this kind of sets the groundwork, if you will, the foundation of the case that I've been hearing many times, especially on other shows and whatnot, of the whole concept of XRP, or Ripple, I should say, basically through the likes of XRP becoming a bank. Really? Listen to this. This is about 1 minute, and then we'll come right back.
With the court case that is in the way here, it is truly limiting the innovation of these companies that want to offer crypto staking or borrowing and lending. All of this world within cryptocurrency finance is being blocked from this court case. So it is fully within my expectation that XRP, XLM, and all those other tokens that we're interested in will be listed as available to custody with standard custody. And let me make that even more clear. David Schwartz, who was one of the co-founders of Ripple, also co-founded Polysign, which owns standard custody. Standard custody and Polysign share the same CEO. Okay, there is no way, there is 0% chance that standard custody and Polysign won't be listing XRP as available to custody. There's no chance. Okay, that's coming with regulatory clarity. With the court case that
regulatory clarity is really something else when you think about it, and especially when he breaks it down just like that. A little bit more in regards to our specific XRP, XLM, XDC coverage, because let's face it, some of those other ones, XDC and XLM, were definitely mentioned. And it's this right here. And, if anything, think about this, right? It says this is how it could go specifically with just that XRP, right? And that's the way I'm looking at it is, when we hear about this whole thing about, the flip of a switch, literally, somebody could literally be watching like the likes of CMC or what you see right here, and it ends up being just that. Watch this, and if anything, I know it's kind of like dreaming, but sometimes you do need a dream, because sometimes dreams do become realities, and especially when it comes to the likes of XRP. I realize that's just a glitch, or for the purposes of making a cool video. Um, you saw it right there. This face is basically just a glitch, but again, the flip of the switch, or for instance, taking on some of this particular debt, if you will. Now, currently speaking, the likes of XRP, right, is sitting at about 39, about 40 cents and so on, right? Something I definitely want to point out is, again, in reference to what I was talking about earlier, is, for instance, taking on the specific debt. When you look at the market cap, the overall crypto market cap, right, sitting at about 840 billion, right? Way down compared to the last, all-time highs of the last bull market of 2021, right? In which we basically had, what was it, like 3 to 4 trillion on that particular, GCMC, right? And if anything, I mean, we're not even at a trillion anymore, right? Some people say, there's no way we're going to get some of these crazy market caps and so on. But again, in a bull market and some of the things turning around for innovative crypto projects and products, if you will, like the likes of Ripple's XRP, Zinfin's XDC, Stellar Lumens, and so on, it really changes the perspective because, again, we take on, for instance, some of these specific debts like Crypto Lulu was basically mentioning, right? Then, if anything, I definitely see these market caps dramatically increasing. And if anything, I'm not necessarily saying that, XRP is going to take over the market cap of, for instance, Bitcoin instantly. I know I've stated that for Quant, but if anything, in due time, they will get there. And that's why I feel eventually Bitcoin will become an altcoin. And I know I'm in a minority of basically stating that, but I'm not the only one who feels that way. I feel as though, Bitcoin, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect for it and so on, right? But that Satoshi white paper was never designed for specifically smart contracts. And again, if anything, I don't care what it is, if it's Bitcoin or and whatnot, right? If you're not innovative, you're not keeping up with the times and so on, basically new developments will simply eat you completely, out of house and home, and knock your foundation out, you name it, right? So I definitely feel as though those days are numbered. Hence why I mentioned many times Quant is basically the new Bitcoin, if you will. Bitcoin with utility. And of course, eventually, it won't even deserve that title. But guys, that's what I'm talking about. We take on some of this debt. We take on that alone, right? Even some of these percentages and so on. And you refer to that particular market cap like Bitcoin has and so on. Oh man, it's huge for XRP. I mean, this is how we get to, for instance, multi-trillions of market cap. Not just for the likes of XRP and so on, but that will definitely add towards this overall crypto market cap. Because let's face it, when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum, they represent basically 81% of the overall crypto market cap. So I just wanted to, of course, break it down for you guys, give you a bigger perspective on how all this works and so on. And if anything, guys, that's basically it in regards to our particular video. So if you like this particular content, thank you again so much for watching from beginning to end. And if anything, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And please hit that bell notification. And again, if you like a live show where we talk about a lot of these different ISO 222 coins and token projects and so on, check out Crypto Talk Now, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, every single day of the week. Thanks again for watching. You all have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.